Alright, my fellow Coomers, today's video is it worth farming in this new Italian event? I'm not going to try to pronounce it because there's some letters and things. Dandelion Hymn. Let's call it Dandelion Hymn. Okay, so Dandelion Hymn, or DH for short. Is it worth farming? So different players, depending on where you are right now, may want to farm this event, and some may not. I'm gonna explain to you entirely whether it's worth or not. So let's go to the event right now. I'm gonna split this into categories as always: end game players, mid game players, and early game players. Right? So let's do it. If you let's start with the end game players first, because there's a lot of things I want to talk about. End game players. Is this worth farming? The only reason you would want to farm this as an endgame player is, aside from the ship drop, because you can get the SSR ship drop here, which is the cruiser in the shop. She drops some D3 and B3 as always. The reason why you would kind of maybe sort of want to farm this event is for the new gun right here, the new AP light cruiser gun. Now, is this gun good, or is this gun worth farming for? No, it is not. So usually I would make this at +10 to show you guys a comparison, but it's just that bad to the point where I don't want to make it. So I'll use the wiki's information. I'll talk about it with you guys. So as you guys can see here, well, let me pull up real quick on the thing, and I'll talk to you guys about it. But basically, this gun is absolutely horrendous. It is probably the worst light cruiser gun in the game as of right now for a gold tier. Yeah, for a gold tier. So what makes this gun worse, or compared to most gun? Well, first of all, in terms of stats, it's not that bad. It has, okay, so the damage is 15 times 6, which is kind of whatever. It's not the best, but it's kind of whatever. It has a long fire rate. That's also one thing. But the mods aren't bad either. It's 100, 100, 60. The big thing about this gun and why it's so bad is because the spray pattern is bloody awful. This spray pattern, you're not going to get value out of it. If I were to compare it with the best AP light cruiser gun as of right now, which is Neptune's gun for AP, yeah. It may win in medium armor modifications, but it loses in heavy armor. So for medium armor, you may think, oh, it's better than Neptune's gun, right? Wrong, because again, the spray pattern is absolutely horrendous. Someone did the math already, and if all 6 bullets hit on the Italian gun, it is on par, if not a little bit better than Neptune's gun. Now, looking at the spray pattern that I'm going to show you guys right here, unless the boss is like the size of like China or something, you're not going to hit every one of those bullets. Nuh-uh. At best, you're probably going to hit like maybe 4 or 5. You're not going to get the maximum damage output on this. Even with the 10% damage modification on medium armor, Neptune gun would probably still beat it on medium's armor. And as a given fact, it's better in light armor distribution as well, and better in heavy armor distribution. So this gun right here is not that great compared to Neptune's gun. And Neptune's gun as of right now is the best AP gun as of right here. And there's many HE guns as well, but because this gun is specified in AP, I'm comparing it with Neptune's gun, which is the best as of right now. You can compare it with the other gun, but I'm probably gonna tell you guys I'm to the end, or like the beginning and the medium mid players right here to farm it, but I'll explain that later on. As of right now, if you're an endgame player, my advice for you guys is to do the 50k or whatever, get the ship drop if you can. If you really want more AP guns, go ahead and farm more, but I'm gonna tell you guys right here, the purple gun we have that you can get from like 4.2 I believe, or whatever, the twin 150, it performs about the same, if not better, and way more accurate compared to the Italian gun, and is a lot cheaper to farm, a lot easier to farm as well. If you really want an AP gun, I would say just get this one, honestly. It may It may do worse than the Italian gun mathematically, but it's less of a hassle. But since most of you guys are farming D3 anyways as end game players, if you can get one, great, go for it. There's one in the shop as well if you want to try it out. It's also pretty cheap. It's what, this is like, I don't know, 2,000 points or whatever. Go ahead and buy it. Go ahead and try it out if you guys want to. It's free, kind of, if you want to go for it. Now, as a mid-game player, do you want to farm this event? It's not terrible as a mid-game player either. Most of you guys don't have Neptune's gun or whatever, so if you want to farm for the Italian gun, go for it if you want. If you can farm D3, go for it. There's also gold barracudas, and there's also some sea fangs. So this is a great event for farming gold planes or whatever, because there's hellcats, there are sea fangs from D1, and there are barracudas from D2. So usually I don't recommend farming anything except D3 because point wise you're getting the most value out of here, and you get the gold ship drop here. So if you get that gold ship drop, you save at 8,000 points. But let's assume that you got this the ship drop from, I don't know, gacha, or you bought it already, or you got lucky during a clear or whatever and you already have the ship drop. If you're a mid-game player and you're not struggling too hard doing C3, D1, D2, if you want to farm for it, go for it. Now I'm going to say this, the map design for this event is absolutely horrendous. I'm going to say this a lot in the upcoming video, but the map in this labyrinth stuff is really bad, and I really don't like it. So if you guys don't mind doing all that fancy schmancy stuff, go for it. Go for it. It's not a bad map to farm. Now, as an early game player, is it worth it? Yeah, it's okay. The maps in B and whatever, they give some incentives, but for the most part it's not super great. If you're an early game player, I suggest farming B3, and B3 doesn't have really that much good gear. You have purple fire control radars, and you have the twin 410. It's not terrible. If you guys want to farm that, go for it. But for the most part though, it's kind of like a whatever event. Do as much as you can, farm the B3s or whatever, and you're good to go. B1 and B2 also has purple versions of the planes as well. Like B2 has purple barracudas, B1 has purple sea fangs, also purple fairy albacores. If you guys have Formi and you guys don't have her purple plane for whatever reason, B1 is a good map to farm for Formi's planes if you guys have those. And the purple Hellcats are also in the Underworld Bomb. Now there's also unique gear here as well. Like there's like these the R2001 and the G50s or whatever. I usually don't bother with these because even though they are purple and they might be really good purples, the cost efficiency or whatever, you guys probably don't need these because these are both fighters, and if you guys spent a lot of time at 3-4 for like the Fox mines or whatever, you have more than enough purple Corsairs, and purple Corsairs are good enough. I won't invest too much into other purple planes right here. Purple gear for the most part is a stepping stone from your way to gain the gold gear, which is obviously better because of stats. So I wouldn't bother too much with these unique gear or whatever. But if you really want them, go ahead and farm for them. I suggest if you're an early game player though, just farm D3 as much as you can. Buy out the good stuff from the shop as always, like the gold gear boxes, gold cast if you want to. If you really want the prints as well, the UR prints, definitely prioritize these. Purple plates as always, and the resources if you really want them. And obviously grab the gun if you really want that as well. So end game players, if you want the gun for whatever reason, go for it. But obviously get your Duca first and whatnot. But the gun is not that great, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Medium players, if you really want a gun or AP gun for light cruisers, go ahead and get this. If you want to farm for it, go ahead as well. But as I said before, it's a downgrade from AP Neptune's gun, so it's not super great. But if you want to go farm for it, go for it. But again, there's a better alternative purple version out there, so won't worry about it too much. And as an early game player, if you want purple planes, go for it. Get your Duca and get these guns. Obviously, these guns are going to be a big upgrade for you for AP, for light cruisers, and so forth. Also, one thing to consider about this gun, guys, even if we are comparing about damage on AP and Neptune's gun being better than this gun or whatever, light cruisers for the most part don't do that much damage for the most part. Because if you're doing light cruiser stuff, most of the time, if you want the big damage dealers for AP, they're using HE gear, and it's most likely for mob fleet or whatever. These guns aren't HE, so there's like Chappie that does a lot of damage, but I use HE for her. So minor upgrades, obviously for the most part, light cruisers, heavy cruiser guns, unless you're Drake or whatever, and destroyer guns, you don't do that much damage. Most of the meat of the Vanguard damage comes from torpedoes, and obviously most of your damage comes from the backline. So don't worry about it too much. If you want to get the gun, go for it. I don't think it's that good though. Don't bother farming it, but if you want to farm for it, go for it. Do what you have to do and get to go. This event, for the most part, not a big fan of it. Don't like the labyrinth puzzles. The gun here isn't that great, but the waifus are very, very good.